Okay, sorry about me going in front of the camera. I've got one of these like super cheap Chinese selfie sticks with a tripod and this little remote control, and it doesn't always make the same noise when it turns on, so I'm a little leery about trusting it. Okay, what video number is this? Holy moly, is this 3 or 4? Oh, this is 4. Yeah, I remember. Okay, this is video 4. This is for Sam's Patreon subscribers and the people on the Discord channel. Okay, so I want to talk about 3 interesting things that I learned from this Indian woman years ago. Probably, man, this is 30 years ago, a little over 30 years ago. So that lady, I forget her name. I met her at this place called Wanawak in Wisconsin, very small town. They have a psychic camp every year. I believe they've had these psychic camps for over 100 years. They do this every year. Psychics from all over America, sometimes from England, they come and they stay there for 2-3 weeks, and then you can go there and you pay money and you get a reading with these people. And the location, I think, is probably, they'd call it a power spot, because all the psychics really love this place, and I'm sure they chose it for a reason. And I heard about this place from my grandpa and from one of my aunts. I've been there, how many times? At least half a dozen times. And I've seen different people through the years. I saw one guy named Cy Baines, who I think was a very good psychic. He had a very, Christian-oriented understanding of everything, which I don't know, I tend to shy away from people who are too serious about religion, but anyway, that's not important here. But he told me a bunch of things that would happen. I have a list. I have 22 things on my list, if I'm not mistaken. I wrote things down when I talked to him, and then he gave me a tape recording, and 20 of the 22 things have happened. So that's a pretty good hit record, I would say, huh? Only 2 things haven't happened. Number 1, the one thing that hasn't happened, he said I would excel at sports someday and be recognized for it. Now, I do sports. I mean, I've done weightlifting and powerlifting for 30 years now. I've never been recognized for it. I'm pretty strong. Not competition level strong. Let's see. I like tennis, but I don't play competitively. I just enjoy it. There's really no other sports that I do. I do sports with my kids, but that's just for fun. So I can't imagine what sport that would be. And, maybe something happened in my life that made me go, this way instead of that way. And so that excelling at a sport thing didn't happen. And then the second thing he said that hasn't happened is that I would someday have lots of horses. And the interesting thing is that he said, you will not choose the horses will choose you. And so you will be the caretaker for these horses. You will have a big ranch and all these horses. I gotta be honest, I like horses. I've ridden horses before. I've had some good experiences with horses. I've had some bad experiences with horses. So I'm not feeling like I'm going to go out and take care of a bunch of horses, So there'd have to be some pretty major changes occurring in my life or my understanding of things for me to say, yeah, okay, these horses came to me and they chose me. So I'm guessing that means they communicated with me in some way, and okay, I accept taking care of you guys. That seems like a pretty far out thing. However, I did talk on Mickey's psychic meetup. I think it was the 15th of May. I did talk about being able to communicate with my brother's dog. Now that was, looking back on it, I took that pretty well. What do I mean by that? come on, like you're communicating with a dog. Wouldn't most people kind of go, oh, Jesus, you know, they might freak out and run out of the house. Run out of the house because the dog's talking to you, you know, telepathically. So that didn't happen. But I guess that shows that, you know, enough strange things have happened in my life that they've become normal. So thinking about that, I guess it's not that far of a stretch to say, yeah, you know, you see horses and they talk to you. Okay. So I'm actually looking forward to that one coming true. If it doesn't come true, I'll be fine, right? But if it does, I'll be like, man, that guy got 21 out of 22. That's a damn good record. So anyway, okay, getting back to this Wanawak thing. I met this Indian woman, and she was probably one of the most influential people that I've met from that world, you know, like being a psychic. Maybe she was a medium too. I don't know. I'm just calling her a psychic for lack of a better understanding of what she could do. So she told me 3 very important things. Let me get to those. The first one, which I've already talked about on the psychic meetup, was trees. You know, you hear about these tree huggers. And you don't want to be hugging a tree this way. You want to be, you know, leaning up against the tree with your back. Try to get your spine as flat as you can against the tree, and then put your arms around the tree if you can, and the tree will send you energy. Now, she recommended first facing the tree, putting your hands on the tree, you know, thanking the tree for being there, and asking the tree to give you the energy that you need. And then turning around, putting your back against the tree. If you can, hold the tree and just say, I'm ready. Please give me the energy that you have for me. And then wait however many minutes, whether you feel something or not. And when you feel like I'm done or I should, you know, move away from the tree, then you thank the tree for their help, and then you go about your day. There are times I've done that. I've done that in, I don't think I've done this in Malaysia. I've done this in different parts of America. I've done it in Hawaii, on Oahu Island, these big banyan trees. Be careful with the banyan trees in Hawaii, though, because they've got scorpions that live up in them, and if you're not careful, you have a scorpion drop on you. I've done it in Japan, all over the place. You know, Japan has some, well, on the west coast of America, we have some trees that are 2,000 years old, and I believe on the east coast, was it North Carolina or somewhere, they found some trees that are even older. But anyway, I've done some very old trees in Japan, these humongous trees. I've done this with it. Sometimes I feel something, sometimes I don't. Now I always say, you know, please give me the energy that I need. And so, you know, it is what it is. So that's the first technique. The second one, the sleep protection, I find this to be tremendously important. Okay, what you do, you're going to be sleeping in a new place, or you're sleeping in the place you've always slept. Now what you do is, most rooms have 4 walls, right? So you stand in the middle of the room, you imagine your pointer finger, pick your right hand, your left hand, whichever you're comfortable with. I always use my right hand because I tend to use my right hand for more things than my left hand. So you imagine, so then you pick a corner, one of the 4 corners, and you point your finger at that corner, and you imagine like white light is shooting out of your, protective white light is shooting out of your pointer finger at the corner. And then you trace a white line on the wall all the way to the next corner. And then you turn your body 1/4 of a turn and you run your finger along that wall to the next corner. You turn your body 1/4 of a turn. So you're always kind of facing the wall that you're doing this at. That's what I'm saying by turning 1/4 turn. And I don't think it matters if you do it clockwise or counterclockwise the first time. Okay? So you draw this line, and this white line, you're imagining it being ingrained on the wall. The walls aren't the important thing, but the walls are a barrier. They're like almost like a fence when you're sleeping, right? They're like a barrier, a fence, however you want to think about it. So you're shooting this white protective light, you know, like a laser, and you're imagining it staying on the wall at that level, right? And you do it on all 4 walls, right? And now you've finished the last corner, and you've connected that square. Then I pull my finger back, and then I put my finger at a position higher than the original one, and then I go the opposite direction. So if I went clockwise the first time, now I'm going to go counterclockwise. So you're shooting the protective white light out of your finger. You start in the corner that you just finished in, and you go back and you put that white line on all four walls again. So the original line will say is at this height, and the next line is at this height. It's up to you how you want to do it, but you want to have two lines of this protective white light. And then what I do is I stand in the middle of the room, I close my eyes, and then I visualize that I have the two lines on this wall, the two lines on the side walls, and the two lines on the rear walls. And they're all connected. And then I say something like, these lines are protection for me while I'm sleeping. And then I say something like, only righteous beings with righteous intentions may enter this barrier. All other beings, life forms, and energy that try to touch this barrier will be cast away at the speed of light. They're casting away. Let me think about this. Okay, any other beings, life forms, entities, however you want to say it to make yourself comfortable. So anything other than righteous beings with righteous intentions, if they touch your barrier, they will be cast away at the speed of light. And their speed and distance will be multiplied 10,000-fold for every second they are being cast back. So in my mind, by saying that, some entity or being will touch the barrier, and then they're going to be shot away so fast at such an incredible distance. Come on, it's at the speed of light multiplied 10,000 times for every second they're being cast back. Just try and wrap your head around that. Okay, so for me, that's been very, very powerful. Ooh, I'm getting close to 15 minutes here. Shoot. Okay, so I'm going to stop, and then I'll do the next one on a different video. So I hope you could wrap your head around what I just said. That is so important. Anytime I sleep somewhere new, I do that, and I don't get messed with when I sleep. And when I haven't done it, I've gotten messed with. Not just the time of me being grabbed by that black-skinned demon in Japan. I've had other things happen at times when I didn't do it. So it's a must for those of us who have abilities and are doing things. Okay? Okay, see you in the next video.